Hey ghouls! Welcome back to another video. So, I know it's been a while since I've last posted, but I'm here to make up for it today by presenting this Spectra doll that I got on eBay. So as you can see, I did get her general doll complete, out of box of course, but she is missing her accessories such as her diary and her, what was it, like a little iPad sort of thing? I'm not too fussed about that, and if I feel the need to complete her in the future, I will, because it isn't too hard to find all of the pieces. But, I mean, we have a more pressing issue on our hands today. So, let me explain a little bit. So it takes bringing her closer to the camera to see, but here you can see that her arm has been chewed quite badly. Now it's not as bad as some people have shown that their dolls are, but I mean, you can see that she has tooth marks on her hand and her arm has jutting out bits of plastic. Additionally, her hand is also one slight tug away from falling off the peg. So unfortunately, I had to get a replacement arm. One thing I didn't count for though was how expensive a second arm would be for Spectra. I don't know why, but I found pairs of arms for like 11 quid and maybe 11 quid for some simple forearms, which I found strange. But I think the arrangement that I came to suffices, so you will see that in a bit. So as you can see and can probably tell, there is a little bit of work I need to put in to sort this doll out and make her presentable. So I'm going to get into the segment where I explain the things I'm going to use to restore this dead tired Spectra, because I have a bit of a complicated process and I feel as if you will find this interesting. So first of all, I just need to preface that this Spectra did not come with glue seepage, which is a win for me, but that just means that I will not be showing how I do my glue seepage treatments on camera today. I'm just going to be showing my general restoration process for a doll that just needs to have a little bit of a clean and refresh. So let's get into the products. So to just start off, you are going to be wanting a good dish soap to help remove grease. You're also going to be wanting a silicone-free shampoo and conditioner, alongside a dog pet brush sort of thing to help detangle, and a tool to clean the doll itself. You're also going to be needing an additional few brushes, such as another pet brush with the thing you use to divide hair, and maybe a flea comb just to separate hair a bit better. I'm also using a Head & Shoulders Classic Clean just because I want to make sure that I get any grease out of the hair. I'm also going to be using a Cif cream to additionally degrease the body and clean alongside the baking powder, which I'm also going to be using, and I will explain why in a bit. So of course the first step to restoring dolls is taking off the clothing and accessories. Now I need to be mindful of the fabric of the dress, specifically because I feel as if it can get damaged by heat, so I'm going to have to be careful when I remove everything. Other than that, we should be good to go, so without further ado, let's remove the clothes. And here we go! So this is a nude Spectra doll. Now that I've removed her clothes and they are in the corner, let's look at her condition. So obviously the first notable amount of damage was the chewed arm. Now, obviously I'm going to need to sanitize that because I don't know where the tooth marks came from, like if it was in an animal's mouth or a human's mouth. So yeah. Anyway, her face was also quite grubby, as you can kind of see from where I've shone my torch, so that's just going to need a bit of a scrub. And she also has some marks on her legs and such. I do not think they'll lift well using anything that I have, so I don't want to risk it and I'm just going to leave them there, all because I do not think nail varnish remover is going to take that off in a good way. Other than that, her other limbs all seem to be in good working condition, and the only thing she really needs, like I said, is a bit of a scrub. Her hair is also doing fine, there's no tangling, it's just generic Kanekalon. So, now that we've looked into this, let's get into the next part of the washing process. So of course we're going to wet her hair first before anything, but as we carry on, I want to explain how I ended up with a chewed Spectra of all things, because you'd like to think that I'm pretty good at spotting when a doll is in poor condition, but in this case I just draw the short straw. Obviously first, here we are applying some dish soap to the body and hair just to start off the cleaning process. But this doll was on eBay, like I mentioned, I believe, and her arm wasn't really shown in the stock images. There was only one image from what I recall, and it was her chewed arm was behind her dress. There was no information in the description stating a damaged limb, and I thought that the price I paid was a pretty good deal, so I just went for it, right? Here I am, just scrubbing her again. Sorry, I keep darting in between storylines, but yeah, just giving her a good scrub and being mindful of the paint on her legs and arms, trying to be careful not to chip it alongside her face because we don't want to ruin her face. So here I am now, scrubbing her body and face with some baking powder. I'm also using a straw cleaner for this, ignore that, but yeah, I'm just being mindful of any of the paint on her face and arms and legs and such, just to make sure I don't chip anything, so I'm using a pretty soft bristled brush. It helps to get all of the little bits of dirt out of all the tiny bits on the body, like all the tiny spaces, and also a piece of advice that I gained from a doll tuber friend of mine. So, it should work for you, it should work for me. Here we are now, going in with another round of dish soap. I like to do things in twos sometimes, unless it's baking powder. So here I am just cleaning her hair again, hoping I can try and smoothen out her hair as I go along, and also just making sure she's extra clean. Like I said, I do want to sanitize that arm very well, and I don't want to try a cleaning agent just in case it melts the plastic or damages her paint job. So here I am just washing her again, and also ignore how the water in the bowl looks, it's just dye. It is a kitchen sink, it's going to look like that, I'm sorry. So yeah, I'm just giving her a little bit of a rinse, and now she is clean and ready for the next step. So here I am now going in with some Cif cream. I'm being mindful of the fact that it's got some grit in it, so I'm just trying not to chip anything by using my soft bristled brush. And it really does make the plastic feel brand new and like she's squeaky clean. It's amazing, and it really does help. I'm yet to try it on glue seepage, but I've heard that it works wonders. So when I'm experimenting with that, I will maybe record for you to see how you guys enjoy it. As we go on, we add more, just where we see fit, and then as we go on scrubbing, and maybe I'm putting a little bit in her hair at this point. But yeah, we just keep going, and then we rinse off, and yeah, then she's ready for the next step, really. So I know I said that I don't repeat baking soda treatments only because, I only have so much and I do need it for baking, but I just saw fit here and I just thought it would work. So here I am just scrubbing again, but you don't need me to explain that again. But yeah, like I was saying about how I ordered her, of course when I found out that her arm was chewed, I did contact the seller, but unfortunately she ghosted me. She did try, after a conversation, of course, where she explained that she got this from another seller, and they didn't disclose the damage, so she thought that it was fine to not state it. I did request a partial refund because of the nature of her damage and how I need to spend money to replace the damaged limb, but of course, like I said, she ghosted me, and we haven't got any further with this. But I'm fine with that, really. Such is life, really. So, whatever, right? Of course, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't stand up for yourself when it comes to your purchases. If there's something you are unhappy with that was not disclosed by the seller, make sure to fight your case because it really does help. And of course, here we are going in with the Head and Shoulders to start on the hair. Me personally, I use this to strip hair of oils, just so it's properly clean. It can remove any potential glue buildup, so I use it and it helps. Of course, with Kanekalon, it does get harder to manage when you take all of the moisture out of the hair, but I guess this was just a process that I'm used to using with my Saran dolls, so I didn't really think about it when I did it. But in my opinion, it turned out fine in the end. So yeah, here we go. So here I am now going in with my curl shampoo. Now this is a shampoo that I personally use, and if it works for me, it will work for my dolls. That's my motto at least. So I'm only putting a tiny amount in because it foams up a ton. So here I am just massaging it into the hair and trying to brush it through as we go. And you may also notice that the flea comb that I was using wasn't exactly getting through the hair because of her hair type. It can really make it hard to brush, especially while wet. But I was just hoping for the best and just going on, massaging, rinsing, and repeating the process a few times, maybe on and off camera. And now, after that step, we finally are moving on to applying the conditioner. Now, this bottle of it is on its last legs. I'm using basically all the scraps that I have left over for it to go into her hair because, I mean, the smoother the better, am I right? And I feel like applying such a generous dosage can help rehydrate the hair after the Head and Shoulders. So, here we go. As you can see, I am just trying to run my fingers through it, going through it, going through the processes, the motions and everything, and just adding more and more because her hair was so dry. But I'm glad we got to a point where I felt that I was able to brush her hair through, because obviously more conditioner means it is easier to comb and I don't accidentally rip her head off or something, because I've heard horror stories of people doing that. So here I am just taking my pet brush, obviously, and just brushing through her hair. Here we go. So because I'm now letting Spectra sit with the conditioner in her hair for a while, I'm going to work on washing the clothes, starting off with the dress. So, as I said earlier, I need to be mindful of these fabrics. So I'm going to show you how I wash a dress. First, obviously, I soak it in water. I'm going to start off with cold water just to prevent the fabric from bleeding. I'm then going to apply a small amount of dish soap and start just squeezing the soap through the dress itself. I found that it really works in cleaning, and after a bit of inspection, I did note that the clothes smelled of cigarette smoke. So I thought that maybe a bit of dish soap would work to get the smell out, which unfortunately it did not. That is one thing that the seller also failed to note. A lot of doll collectors will tell you that it's good to disclose whether or not your dolls come from a pet or smoke home, because the condition can be really affected if it's from a smoker's home, which is nothing against the person themselves, as long as they choose to as long as they actually disclose the information regarding where it's from, that's fine. And also, disclosing that it's from a pet home can, save people with allergies from having problems. Now, sorry I went on, but here we are going in with her sleep mask, which I'm then following the same method. It's really just a rinse and repeat process. I just wash vigorously, and it does get it to smell less like smoke as we go along, but unfortunately there's only so much you can do, really. And here I am starting on the slippers. I'm just rinsing them a little bit with dish soap and then using the water to kind of jet wash the inside of the shoes. They are such a gorgeous design though. I love the little transparent window in the heel and also the chains on the little fluffy bit at the front. They're so cute. And as you can see, I continuously palm them with the soap and I rinse and such. But as you keep watching, I kind of lose grip on one of them. I guess I just suck with my motor skills, and I have to dig around in the water, of which I then have to rewash. Not because the water's dirty, but only because I just want to make sure that the thing stays clean. So yeah, here I am just rinsing again, and yeah, rinsing, cleaning, etc. And then I'm going to sit them to dry until they're dry so I can dress the doll again. So, whilst Spectra is still processing, I want to introduce you to her gracious body donor. Because it took a while for me to hunt around to find a cheap Spectra, because like I said, all of her nude bases and such are very expensive. But luckily I found this Ghoul Sports Spectra for about £8.06, and she only has the arm that I really need. She does have a missing hand, so I don't know what to do about that. But here I am with the arm that I need, and all I need to do is really take it off, get rid of the bracelet, and then just replace the limb. She has glue seepage, but does it really matter for a donor doll? So, yeah, I was glad to have found her for so cheap. Great, so here I am just removing the arm, and I'm just going to need to remove the bracelet too, as I'm going to be washing this arm, because you never know where the doll's been, so it's always good to take the measures you can to protect your doll collection and you. Here I am just inspecting the arm just to make sure there was no damage to it, which there really wasn't, but to be fair, anything's an upgrade from what I already had. So here I am just removing the bracelet and popping the hand and the arm back together so it's easier to wash in the long run. So let's get into the cleaning. Here I am just coating the thing in dish soap and giving it a little bit of a scrub before I rinse it. I just want to be extra careful because you never really know, like I said, where things have been when you're buying secondhand. The same applies to when you get charity shop clothes and items, because again, you don't know where they've been. And the average person doesn't properly clean their items before donating them. So, it's always good to take these extra measures. And now the time has come to wash the conditioner out of Spectra's hair, and it's already feeling so much softer and so much more silky. I didn't think it could get any better. But here I am just trying to gently rinse her hair without getting it in the water. And it's going well. It's still a bit difficult to brush, but it is significantly better than compared to when I started doing it. I'm really pleased, and I'm excited for the next step. And here is my favourite part of the process, the boil wash. Now I'm using my Vocaloid colour change mug for this because I thought it would be a fun little feature to include in the video, as I have featured this mug in the past. But I'm just putting some boiling water in a cup. I'm going to be dunking her hair and her head into the boiling water and then brushing it quickly just to straighten and even the hair out. Because otherwise you can get really awkward bumps from where hair pieces have sat and just where they've been stored or displayed. For example, she came with a sleep mask and that made her hair have a really strange way of sitting, so I just had to give her a bit of a wash and a brush. And here I am, just repeating the process a few times just to properly smooth out the hair. And after a bit, I am going to be defining the part line with my small divider brush, because I don't want her head to be lumpy, and also you can see her roots. And we don't like that with our dolls. So here I am, just brushing that out. And now here I am just taking the remainder of the hot water that I have, and I'm just going to run the hot water over her hair and then give her a quick little brush just to properly smooth out her hair from a gravity point of view, if that makes sense. I'm just smoothing it out, and it was still kind of difficult to brush because of the nature of her hair fibre, like I said. But yeah, after I've washed that, she is ready to be sat to dry. And here she is now, suspended on my food cupboard just to dry. So I could have left her in her stand, but I just thought this was funny, and I just feel like it gets the air to her properly. So here she is just sitting, and I'm going to be letting her dry for a couple of days, and then I'll see you in a bit. So 2 days have passed, and Spectra is lovely and dry now. Her hair is super soft, and all of her clothes are dry, and she feels squeaky clean. Unfortunately, her clothes do still smell of smoke. I couldn't do much about that. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit of an improvement from before. At least you guys don't have to smell it through the camera. I would be embarrassed if you did. So yeah, I think so far we are doing really well. And let's get on to the part where we do her arm, because I know that sometimes removing a damaged peg can be daunting. So here is our lovely clean replacement arm. We are just looking at it just to make sure there is no damage, because sometimes that can be the case when it's been moved around a bit, because it has been shuffled around a lot in my kitchen since I got a hold of it. But now we just need to remove her original arm. So here I am going to show you how to remove a damaged limb. Now, as you can see, this hand is practically falling off of the peg. It's not going to stay on. So you do have to be really careful with this kind of thing, because one quick tug the wrong way can just pop the hand right off like that. And you don't want that, because it's hard to put back on and it's just a struggle overall. So what you are looking to do when replacing the arm is you grab it at the peg joint. You squeeze at the joint with your left hand, and you just wiggle and twist until it comes out as such. It's just the easiest way to not damage the joint and to not stress as much when it comes to removing it. And here I'll show you what happens if you do not properly hold the joint. Yep, the hand just pops straight off and the peg is stuck in there. It takes a bit of a pull and it's hard to pop back together, as I'm obviously showing you. I'm just doing a little bit of a wiggle off camera, just because it takes a bit of a second. But yeah, it's a lot of a struggle, so you've just got to be careful sometimes, otherwise you may end up with damage that you did not want in the first place. And here I am now, just making sure that all the joints are fine before I just insert the arm back into the socket. And see, that was simple, that was easy, and finally Spectra has a decent arm, which is such a win for me. And now here comes my favourite part, redressing the doll and restyling the doll. So let's get into it and make her camera ready. And here I am now, restyling her hair so it sits properly with her sleep mask. Because, as you saw at the beginning, her hair was kind of bent out of shape by how it was positioned. So here we are, just using her broken arm peg to separate her hair's front pieces so it sits really comfortably like a cute little headband. And it just looks so much nicer in my opinion. I love it. I love how it looks. And here I am, just making some last minute adjustments by just combing out her hair properly. It does get a bit staticky when I mess around with her a lot, so just a quick smoothing brush can really help. And I'm just taking the time to pop her off the stand, reposition her, adjust her dress, etc, etc. It just makes her look nicer, because in my collection, I love dynamic poses and I love dynamic displays. So having her positioned in a way where her dress does not fall off when she raises her arms is great. As you can see, her strap was slipping down, so I had to fix it anyway. But yeah. So here she is, properly styled, and I am just so happy with the final results. And I'm just so happy that I was able to fix up this doll and make her my creation. She's like a little Frankenstein of doll parts, but I love her nonetheless. And obviously I don't know what I'm going to do with her damaged limb and what I'm going to do with the donut doll now, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. I mean, I always do. So just drop any advice or suggestions in the comments if you have any. But yeah, I'm just going to give her a little bit of a comb again, a little bit of a tweak, and then I'm going to be showing you my final thoughts, of course, and evidently the final reveal. And yeah, this is the final Spectra. I hope you all enjoyed watching today's video, and I do appreciate every single one of you. Just to let you know, I do have a ton of videos backed up to post, and I have been filming them months prior to this. So if there are any weird timestamps popping up that were from like last month or something, that's because of that. Sorry I haven't been posting, I've just been working through a few things. But thank you all so much for watching, and I appreciate every single one of you. And I really do hope that I get to see you all in the next video, because you like maybe watching my content and I like making my content. So yeah, thank you. And again, if you have any suggestions for what I should do with the Spectra, the donor one, just let me know. I'm intrigued. But yeah, thank you very much, and thank you for watching. So yeah, thank you again. And I know I keep saying that, but thank you. So yeah, have a nice day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.